Jesse Kotton proved to us this week at the New York Regional, placing 5th place, that you can literally play anything with the Danger engine and get away with it. And it is so painful knowing that if this man had a Herakti, he would have played it in this deck and actually been able to resolve it. So what is up, guys? I'm Cool40 here. We need to look at Jesse Kotton's list, and this is awesome. This man actually got 5th place at a regional, main decking all 3 Egyptian God cards. Can you guys tell me the last time, come on, raise your hand, any of you, that you topped a regional main decking not only Obelisk and Slifer and Raw, alright? And I actually saw a win condition picture of him where he actually went into Summon Sorceress in time, copied Obelisk, I believe summoned Slifer, and then went Gustav Max. Burned his opponent in time. Alright, so, whew, what a real shocker there. So I got to give it up to our boy Jesse. Innovation at its finest. Now, somebody's going to be like, well, innovation doesn't necessarily mean that, like, putting dumb cards in a deck will get you some. Yes, it does. Tech choices are what wins formats. And I think that this was one of the coolest things that we've seen. Now, you know, you can actually double down and kill your opponent. I mean, just getting into a Summon Sorceress, summoning a God card, and then, you know, cloning the God card into another God is great. Now, one of the things that this deck inherently, we've started to see the format go back to Sphere Mode now. And you guys know that Sphere Mode says it requires 3 tributes from either field to normal summon this guy to your opponent's field. And then, you know, you give control of that to your opponent, and then your opponent cannot target this guy for an attack. But you contribute this card, special summon Winged Dragon or Raw from your hand or deck, ignoring those summoning conditions. In a format where people are side decking Sphere Mode against you, why would I not take advantage of the situation where when you hand me the ball, I can take advantage of it, tribute it, and summon the Winged Dragon Raw? We've kind of seen people counterpicking this for a little while now, and I'm kind of surprised that this didn't catch on initially. I kind of think that this is more or less something cheeky. So if your opponent Sphere Modes you, and you get the ball, and then you summon the Winged Dragon Raw off of it after your opponent attempted to break your board, if you can make Summon Sorceress bring out the Obelisk off of that counterplay, you just OTK your opponent because you've got 8k on the board. Like, it is so inherently broken, the level of synergy that this deck actually has. And it's kind of crazy to me that Jesse thought of this to actually see play. But I get that we were kind of going towards the Winged Dragon or Raw counter pick for the format. You'll kind of see over the next couple of months, the more that we go into a Sphere Mode playmat or format, the more that people are going to be looking at, like, hey, maybe I should side in the Raw, or maybe in Jesse's case here, he's already main decking it, already anticipating the metagame that is going about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more Egyptian God card abuse. I think that this is like the extremity right here for things in the current day of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, can the format go much higher than this? I don't know. Like, we'll have to wait and see, but hey, when Egyptian God cards that are getting played in main deck Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, maybe the format's not so bad. Maybe I've just been a little bit too harsh on it at this point. So, but yeah, congratulations, Jesse, for actually supporting the Egyptian God card master race. And also, the fact that you get to take advantage of this shit in time is really cute. So, let's dig on into Jesse's list here, kind of talk about ratios a little bit. So, we have triple copies of Battery Man Solar. Normal or special, you get Son of Thunder from your deck to the graveyard. Once again, one of the best cards. Also being able to make a token, climbing that link ladder all the easier. Now, of course, since we are on the Chaos Engine, we are playing 2 of the little Black Clop Serpent. The fact that this also searches for the mini white is so good. Like, honestly, the fact that this engine actually is seeing play right now, also, I mean, their level 4 dragon, who actually knew that this shit was going to see play. Triple copies of Lavenir. Once again, the fact that this card has so many ways to disrupt, whether or not it be special summoning from the graveyard, getting the ability to shuffle from your opponent's hand, or destroying 2 cards. Lavenir is definitely starting to be the chaos monster of choice for breaking those large boards that you're starting to have issues with. And I think triple copies seems like a little bit too much, but it worked for him. 1 copy of Bigfoot. And I almost want to say this deck wants to go first. All right, wants to go second. But Bigfoot gives you the ability to disrupt the opponent and destroy a monster, which I know a lot of people are very indifferent about. Bigfoot, I've heard a lot of differing opinions on it, but I think that this is absolutely fine as a one of. 2 copies of Chupacabra. I don't know. Nothing really too special to say about this guy. Mothman. Oh, God, this card is starting to gain so much value right now. The discard draw is so good. Like, thank you, Mothman. I thought that this card was kind of bad because you don't want your opponent to discard, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. Triple copies of Nessie. Yeah, I mean, this and triple copies of Jackalope, pretty much mandatory. The fact that, like, this whole toolbox and these numbers, no real complaints. Like, it works. We have triple copies of Tsuchinoko, also kind of the little piece that brings this engine together. Now, we have 1 copy of Diabolsis. I know a lot of people kind of cut this for a little while, and then we kind of went back to it, and then we cut it again, and now we're back on it. So, literally, if a dark monster is tributed, you get to special summon this guy. Nothing real else. And then, I mean, you contribute a dark monster to rip a card from your opponent's hand. They either put it on the top or the bottom, their choice. But I do think that this is one of the better cards that this deck has going for it. You also have to remember, like, this deck is just kind of boss rush turbo. Literally, you just big boss monster, go. Big boss monster, go. That's how your whole deck wants to function. So, there's that. We have 1 copy of Equipped Wyvern. Set up any light monster or dark dragon that you want. And then get it back by banishing it. It's so free, it actually hurts. Of course, 1 copy of Obelisk, the Tormentor. Triple copies of Phantom Skyblaster. This card is absolutely the nuts. It makes link climbing so much easier. Why does this card unbanned? I don't know. 1 copy of Slifer, 1 copy of Winged Dragon Aura. Now, ratios for Thunder Dragons. Triple copies of Dragon Dark. It's absolutely fine. If you get this in your opening hand, feel free to go ahead and ditch it. Search for whichever other Thunder Dragon that you want if you're going second. Like, the fact that it's a quick effect discard search definitely makes the game a little bit easier for you. 1 copy of Aeon, another Chaos monster that you have access to. Only 2 copies of Dragonhawk, and only 2 copies of Dragon Roar. I think these ratios are fine. You don't want to load down too much on these. Now, we're not playing the egg because we are not the pure version. Also, the egg isn't necessarily the best card that this deck has going for it. Only in the pure version. Remember that. Of course, triple copies of the White Dragon Wyvern Buster and triple copies of Win Condition, aka draw 2 cards. When this card resolves, things are going to get shitty very quickly. Now, the extra deck. 1 copy of Summon Sorceress. This is by far the best card that this deck has. As you've seen, summoning Egyptian god cards for free. I mean, you just got to get one onto the board and you're good to go, right? Shouldn't be a problem considering, I mean, all of these guys special summon themselves and give you tribute fodder, right? So, feel free to clone, feel free to abuse this. We have 2 copies of Saruja. Of course, summoning an Egyptian god from a zone that this guy points to is pretty fucking cool, right? Who doesn't love unloading a 4K beater for no real reason? And also, this deck cycles so much with Sarujas that it's actually kind of crazy. 1 copy of Reprogus. Hello, Summon Sorceress Fodder. 1 copy of Link Spider. 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix. 1 copy of Alpe. And then 1 copy of Agripain. I heard being able to bring out Crystal Wing is pretty good. Also going to see he's not playing Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. But, I mean, this card does OTK on its own. 1 copy of Borreload. 1 copy of Zombie Stein. So this is kind of why we're playing more towards the copy of Bigfoot, just because this card is really good. And then triple copies of Thunder Dragon Colossus, once again. Slowing down your opponent, putting a floodgate on the board is really good. Side deck, we have triple copies of Brinkatops, triple copies of Electric Fires. So you can discard this card, target 1 machine or Dragon-type monster your opponent controls, and then you get to take control of that target until the end phase. I wish this was a quick effect. Sad it's not. Triple copies of Fantomaze. We have 2 copies of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. I believe you can reveal this, right? And just kind of disrupt your opponent. Triple copies of Sphere Mode. I bet your opponent's not playing Winged Dragon Raw. And 1 copy of Gustav Max, wrapping up this bad boy. Once again, congratulations to Jesse Kotton. You've changed the way that I look at this deck, and I'm sure you're going to change the way that many players are going to look at this deck. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think about Jesse's list. Man, it is so cool getting to see Egyptian God cards, see play in this current format. Alright guys, I'm out. Peace.
The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.